Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday, the 31st of March 2023, end of the quarter. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished the day and the quarter higher, but not the month. The bourse closed up 0.8% in today's session to 7,178 points. It was down more than 1% for the month, but up 2% since the beginning of the year. Today was a big day for the miners, with BHP, Fortescue Metals and Rio Tinto all finishing up between 2 and 4%. Positive sentiment out of China and slightly higher iron ore prices triggered the rise. It wasn't so good for the energy companies, with both Woodside and Santos down more than 1%. Macquarie Group had a good day. The major banks were mostly flat. Wesfarmers and Newcrest Mining Group were other outperformers. Woolworths, Coles and Aristocrat Leisure were the underperformers among the large caps at least, and the Aussie dollar heads into the weekend trading above 67 US cents. Story number 2, Donald Trump has been indicted by a Manhattan grand jury after a probe into hush money paid to porn star Stormy Daniels. He's the first former US president to face criminal charges. The charges arising from an investigation led by Democratic Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg could well reshape the 2024 presidential race. The 76-year-old Trump is, at the moment, the preferred Republican candidate, among voters at least. Trump previously said he'd continue campaigning for the Republican Party's nomination if charged with a crime, and the announcement is likely to help boost his polling numbers. Trump called it political persecution and election interference at the highest level in history, though he provided no evidence about that. According to media reports, he's likely to hand himself in early next week to the Manhattan District Attorney's office, where he'll be fingerprinted, have a mugshot taken, and be interviewed by detective investigators. Or, of course, he might not hand himself in and would get the spectacle of the former President of the United States being handcuffed and dragged into the DA's office. Story number 3, it's a big day tomorrow, especially for the Liberal Party, with the Aston by-election in suburban Melbourne being held. With Labor now holding power in all mainland states as well as federally, the by-election is particularly important for Liberal leader Peter Dutton. It comes after former Minister Alan Tudge resigned. No government has won a seat off the opposition in a by-election in more than 100 years. Story number 4, AMP shareholders today voted down its executive remuneration plan, still angry over the wealth management's financial performance 5 years after the Hayne Royal Commission. At AMP's annual general meeting today, just shy of 50% of shareholders voted against the company's proposed 2022 remuneration report. That's well above the 25% threshold required to hand down an official strike. A vote against the report at next year's AGM would trigger a spill of the board of directors. The company's lost about 75% of its market value since the Royal Commission. AMP shares were down another 2.3% today. And finally, story number 5, F45, the Australian fitness franchise now based in the United States, has secured $90 million in a debt facility to help the company reorganise its finances and halt the widespread closure of struggling gyms. Longtime investor and actor Mark Wahlberg has been elevated to head of brand. Last year's been a bad one for the ambitious gym company, with $1.15 billion in value wiped from the company's market cap, according to Financial Review. The sudden resignation of Australian co-founder and chief executive officer Adam Gilchrist last July and a series of sharp earnings downgrades have pushed the company's shares, which are listed on NASDAQ, down 68% this financial year. F45 sells franchised gyms that broadcast 45-minute circuit training workouts through a centralised program. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 31st of March, 2023. Michael Thompson, Adam Lang and I will be back tomorrow morning with a weekend edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.